Brother here, the big signs.
In front of the house.
His wife's like, why?
So I wanted to prepare these weeks before Yom Tovim to prepare the ground for the limud that we're going to be learning Bez Hashem over the next hopefully next year or two. We're mostly focusing on some of the teachings from Tzadikim of Ishbitz, as we did last week, and a little bit from Rav Sasson, so there's on time. This is what we're talking about. The page that you have is from the Side Yishar, from Rabbi Gershon Henach from Radzin. We're learning his Hagdama to his father's Sefer in the Chassidish Shiur on Erev Shabbos. And this is a Torah from Hoshana Rabbah. This is what we're talking about. It's the pnimius of all that we're going to be learning. I think we'll do a few more pieces from these tzaddikim to get ready for what we're going to be learning. So the first side you see where it says Zayin v'samti mokum la'ami liyisrael. V'samti mokum la'ami liyisrael. It's a beautiful, beautiful pasuk in small days. The context of the pasuk is that the Navi, Nosan HaNavi, was sent by Hashem Yisbarach to go to David Malach with the tzavah to move ahead with the plans to build a Beis HaMikdash, and many beautiful promises that Hashem Yisbarach makes to David Malach. And he says, "V'samti mokem la'ami liyisrael." I will establish a home, a mokum, a place, a home for my people, for Yisrael, unetativ, and I will plant them. I'll plant them firmly in their home, Eretz Yisrael. V'shachan tachtov, they will dwell there securely. V'shachan tachtov, v'lo yirgaz od. Now, what does the word rogez usually mean? It means anger. Rogez means anger. So I looked in a few lit translations. Some translated as disturbed, upset. Those are translated as trembling, shaking, frightened, stressed. They all agree it's not a good thing. And the promise is that Hashem promises, I'm going to establish my people in their land, and I will plant them there, and they will be secure there, and they will no longer be disturbed, trembling, frightened, stressed, and so on. V'lo yosifu b'nei avla la'anoisai. And the b'nei avla, the wicked ones, will no longer oppress us. Chaburah Yosef, as they have done in the past. It's a good passage, no? We're waiting to see this fulfilled very, very clearly in a very simple way. But look what the Rabbi explains. In terms of every moment of our lives, this is really what we're talking about. We're going to be talking about a person finding his place. Inyan Makkah. Uk'mamar mazal HaKadosh Baruch Hu Makom Shel Olam. Vein Olam Makom. Hashem is called Makom. It's one of the names. Baruch HaMakom Baruch Hu and so on. HaMakom Yinachem Eschem. HaMakom Yirachem Aleim. So Hashem is called Makom. Chazal say Hashem is the place. Vein Olam Makom. It's not that He lives in the world. He is everything. He's the place. And he says, V'hukid Isa b'Gemara. Gemara Chagiga is talking about the pasuk Baruch Kvoid Hashem Mimkom. The Gemara says on that pasuk, Mekoimai means Hashem has His place, Leikaman the Yodalei. And there's no person that knows that Mokum of Hashem. Leikaman the Yodalei. It's Mekomo. Hashem has His Mokum. Leikaman the Yodalei. Hainu. So the Rabbi is going to explain this. It's very, very deep. And he says, Hainu she'ein ha'adam makir es mekayim. The truth is that a person doesn't know his own place. He doesn't know his own makom. Kim hoya makir es mekayim. Because if a person would really recognize his place in life, exactly who he is and what he's supposed to be doing with his life, then he would know Hashem's place. Hainu, shahaya yodea asamakuvan sheyesh lakadosh baruch hu imo. What does it mean to know Hashem's place? The Gemara says, nobody knows Hashem's place. So the Rebbe is explaining that if a person is makir, if a person is able to know, he says, if a person is able to know, what does Hashem's Baruch have with me in this world? Like what's my particular specific inyan that Hashem has with me, why He created me? And I read a lot of stuff. I read Ramchal's and I read all kinds of things about and the Tanya, why Hashem created the world and everything. Okay. But I'd like to know what I'm supposed to be doing in this world that Hashem created. Befrat, me. My makom. What's my makom in this world? And me, by the name of so-and-so, I came to the world in that day, in that year, and I'm here now. What am I supposed to be? I know I'm supposed to put up on the Shabbos. I'm on the program, but what's my makom? Befrat, specifically my makom. What does Hashem's Baruch want from me? She says, to know the makuvan of what Hashem's Baruch wants with him. And that makuvan, that intent, that purpose that Hashem has with each individual person, that's called Hashem's place. It means not somewhere over the rainbow, the galaxy, all worlds. It means Hashem's place with you in your life. That's the motive. The Gemara is saying, but Hashem, people don't know that. It's very, very hard to know that. Leikaman the other way, the Gemara says. Leikaman the other way. Ki im kol prat nefesh mi Yisrael, because with each individual nefesh mi Yisrael, each individual Jew, yesh la Hashem's Baruch mekuvan miyuchad. Because Baruch has a mekuvan miyuchad with each individual person. That's why kivakaras roa edro ma'avir sonu tachashivta. That each one of us, Rosh Hashanah, it's not just Rosh Hashanah, but special Rosh Hashanah, that we pass before Hashem's eyes. Ma'avir sonu tachashivta. Kol prat, and the din is on whether or not you're busy doing what you were created to do. It's not like a general, it's not general admission. It's kivakars or edom, avitzam tachashivta. Ken Yavriv, Yisbog, Yivna, each person is separate. And Hashem has this particular union with each person. And if a person would truly know his specific particular mekuvan, the intent that Hashem has with him, that for that mekuvan, Hashem lowered him into this world, lowered his neshama into this world, brought him into this world. Then he would know Hashem's place. Because the Hashem's place is not about where Hashem lives. It's not about a location. If he would know the mekuvan that Hashem has with his neshama, that means to know my particular, specific chibur, connection, the mokum of Hashem in my life. Something grander than that, something Kabbalistic, something bigger about Hashem's mokum. The Rabbi is explaining that's not what it means. The Gemara is saying people don't know their mokum. People don't know Hashem's mokum. Hashem's mokum is your mokum. And that mokum is your purpose in this world, why Hashem created you. And if a person knows that, that means knowing Kodesh Baruch Hu's place in your life, specifically. That's called Mokum Hashem. Baruch HaMokum. It's not someplace far away. And regarding this, the pasuk that Hashem said through the Navi Nasan to David HaMelech is hinting to when it says, "V'samti Mokum La'ami L'Yisrael." Of course, it means the simple pshat means Eretz Yisrael. But in Pnimius, in each person's life, even before that day, it means V'samti Mokum La'ami L'Yisrael. I will establish a home, a mokum, a place. I will help you find that home with me. Meaning, I will help you understand, if you want. I will help you understand what your mokum is. And if you understand what your mokum is, then you will understand my mokum, because my mokum is in your mokum. That's what the Rebbe is explaining. Unitativ, and I will plant you firmly. I will plant you. So what's the tosefes of planting? It says, I will place you. Samti mokum. So what's the Indian of planting? Unitativ. Hainu kumainitim, like a plant. Shmatzmiach tamid peros. And the plant is continuously giving forth fruit. It's bearing fruit. The plant is it's lebedik. It's giving fruit. Even though we don't see how that works, you just see the fruit coming out of this thing. There's something invisible, mysterious, that's deep inside the earth. There's koach hatzmicha, which is ne'elam b'karka, which is hidden in the earth. But because this tree is connected to its root, to its shorish, Maitzi Tamid Peretz. It continues to bear fruit. So what the Rebbe is saying is that if you see a Jew that's not bearing fruit, meaning his life is not adding up, he's not bringing forth what he could bring forth, it's because he's detached from his root. He's detached from that market. And it's something that you can't see. The same way you can't see the root of the tree, it's Nelam Bakaraka. That mysterious force that gives the person the ability to bear fruit, to grow. That's his connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And if this kid is not bringing out any pears, you can, God forbid, you can hit him, you can hack him, you can clap him, you could send him to all the different experts in the world who's going to help him. He's not Moitzi pears. It might be that in the world's eyes, it could be that he's very successful. He's got some kind of multi-billion-dollar hedge fund or something. But that's not what his market is. And therefore, he's never really, really happy. Because he's not home. So you can live in the most beautiful home in the world, and you can be terribly homesick. Because you're not in your market. Because the market that the Jew has is with the Kodesh Baruch Hu, and that Kuvan of why Kodesh Baruch Hu created him befrat. That's called being planted. And when you're planted firmly in your place, you could be a very poor person. Chas v'shalom. Be that you live in some tiny little hovel somewhere, but you might see pears. The fruit keeps on coming. You might see pears. V'shachan tachtov, so the pasuk says, you will dwell securely. Securely. So the Rabbi Aish HaNechel says, Hainu, ki mesibas zeh she'eino adam makir sh'makaymai, that because a person is not makir his makam, lezeh eni yochel lishkan b'naicha. We learned that word, we were talking about that last week. That because he doesn't know his makam, he's not able to live securely in his life, in his place, where he is. He doesn't have naicha. Ein lo menucha. He doesn't have menucha. He can't find himself. He feels that stress, that displacement. He doesn't feel at peace with his life. He can take this out on his wife and his kids, on the Weinberger, on his congressman, on the president, whatever it is. But he doesn't have naicha because he will love the He's not in his market. So he says, as a person, there's any yochelish a person cannot be sheikh and benaicha. That word naicha has a lot in it. So what does he do his whole life? He's mechapes b'chol tzdodim. He's looking at b'chol tzdodim, not the mekuvan, b'chol tzdodim. All different sides, meaning he's looking everywhere. Anavana, where? Ayi mekayim kevoida. Where? Ula yimsa margor lenavsha. He's looking everywhere. Maybe here I'll find the margor lenavshi. If I have this money, if I have this friend, if I have this wife, if I have this kid, it'll be like this. Somehow, but he's looking to find naicha, margor lenavsha. Everybody wants to find margor. Margor means serenity, tranquility, means being home. And this reminds us of the medrash that we've spoken about many times in Kehalas. It says on pasuk, "V'gam hanefesh lo samaleh." V'gam hanefesh lo samaleh. Kehalas is saying that the soul of the person is never filled. There's always that restlessness. The soul is not filled. V'gam hanefesh lo samaleh. Why? So the medrash, everybody knows this. We've learned this many times over the years. Moshel bas melech shenises le'iran. This could be compared to a bas melech, a princess who marries like a regular guy from the town, from the village. And the guy is married to the princess, so it's hard to make her happy. So he does whatever the poor guy spends all of his money. Is nice and kol ma'adani olam. He's bringing her all the most expensive, wonderful things. Kol ma'adani olam. Any yotze dechavasa, the Medrash says. He's never yotze with her. Why is he never yotze with her? So whatever this nice guy, her husband, whatever he brings her, it's never it. Because she's a basmala, she comes from the palace. And she's away from the palace. So whatever he brings her, she doesn't have margot. She doesn't have that naicha. And he can't understand it. I killed myself to get to this necklace. I took you to the fanciest Pesach program, the furthest one away from where you live. I did everything I can for you, and I brought you to your house. I gave you beautiful children, and I got Meneshivas Melech. Zaloza, this is not what's missing in my life. Thank you. You're very good. Zaloza. Kacha nefesh lo tamal. So too the soul of the Jew. You could bring the soul of the Jew. Kol ma'adan he'olam. Alle get the zachen. And the soul is not full. Because the soul of the Jew comes from that mokum. And you can have a person that's the poorest person in the world, and he has that mokum with Hashem. He's the happiest person in the world. He has neichah. He's in his place. If you're not in your place, it makes no difference in the world what you have. It doesn't make a difference. Because the neshama of a Jew is minhal yain. Comes from that mokum. Comes from a different place. And the place is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And if that person doesn't find his place, specifically his place in this world with Hashem Baruch, then lo b'bayit. Lo b'bayit. And when they tell you when Elal hachi b'bayit ba'olam, it's not true. They think as they're flying, so they're getting closer to some places. Lahavin Zayis. In order to understand this, I'm not going to let you go until we finish this today, so you better daven that I do it quickly. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but most of it. Lahavin Zayis. Hallel Lefnei Hashem Zvarach Ein B'em Shum Chilik Me'Elyonim Tachtonim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu was the nafki minute. Elyonim Tachtonim. Hashem is Melech Al Haaretz. Ki Molei Kol Haaretz Chazda. U'Melech Kol Haaretz Kavayda. Hashem is everywhere. So what does it mean? Elyonim Tachtonim, above, below. Hashem is everywhere. As I heard and I learned from my Heilige grandfather, the Mashilach, the Izbitzer, but it says in Tillim, Halu is Hashem and Hashemayim. So it says over there, Halu is Hashem and Hashemayim and all the different things. Lo nema hamayim Hashem itachas la'aretz. It says over there, Me'al Hashemayim, but it doesn't say the water Hashem itachas la'aretz. There's water underneath the ground too. Inside the earth there's water. How come it only says hamayim Hashem Me'al Hashemayim, the heavenly waters? It doesn't say mitachas la'aretz. The water's inside the earth. Mishum because when a person's with Hashem, halus Hashem, when he's in that place of being mahal Hashem, he's connected to Hashem. So he says, makes no difference how poor you are. You're in a place that's called El Yonim. You hear this? You're not really. It looks to the rest of the world like you're some schlepper. The truth of the matter is, when you're with Hashem, there's no such thing as being tachas la'aretz. You're always in the El Yonim. The conditions and the circumstances of your life do not determine whether you're above or you're below. When you're with Hashem, you could be down and out. You're in a bad spot, God forbid. But when you're with Hashem, that's called El Yonim. Because you're home. That's your place. It says, and even though my life, which to everybody else looks like I'm in a tachtonim, it's El Yonim. I'm blessed. My life is min El Yonim. They all look at me like I'm in a tachtonim. Only I know that I'm in El Yonim. Because when you're mahal Hashem, when you're in that place, when you're in your makom, when you're where you're supposed to be, and you're firmly planted there, you're bearing fruit, and your life is a life that's called min El Yonim. Therefore, the subterranean life is called an elevated life. Everybody else will say, guy's a loser. He didn't make this much money, and he lives in some tiny little studio somewhere. He's been a tachtonim. But the admis is that his life is me'al Hashemayim. Because whenever you're with Hashem, It's Me'al Shemayim. Because that's your makom. I mean, you're in your makom, in your place. It's the greatest simcha that a person can have. So then the question is, you're a Jew. That means that your nefesh comes min ha'elyonim. So why is the princess never happy? She is min ha'elyonim. So the princess should be happy. That's who she is. She's min ha'elyonim. The reason that we don't feel that way, the princess should be happy. She should feel that her life fills her. We should feel that way, so why don't we? She doesn't have that menucha and all the simcha that comes with that, with the neicha. Because this Jew has a neshama, but he's detached from it. And because of that, he doesn't know his makom. The princess doesn't know her place. She doesn't know where she lives. She doesn't know where to go. That's what the Gemara is saying. A person doesn't know his place. Because if a person would know, if a person would know his place, meaning the person would know, if the parent would know for his child, if the Rabbi would know for the kid, if we would know for ourselves, that makuven sheyesh laHashem yisbarach imo befrat, that intent, that mokum with Hashem befrat, his personal space with a the person would know that. What covet am I supposed to bring to Hashem in my life? Because every one of us has to do that. That's our job. So but I don't know what my role is in this, in revealing Hashem, in revealing your covet. What's my role? I was just reading a Maisa that there was a Yid that was this is in England during the time of the war. So a lot of the Jews during the World War II they left London because London was getting bombed, and they were able to they went out of London, and many of the Jews went to Gateshead. They went out of London to go to where it was quiet. The Nazis were bombing London every night. It was terrible. And there was the Shatzer Rebbe, so it was a big tzaddik. He's buried in London. It's a big Moshe, the Shatzer Rebbe. And it's a whole arichas, but the story was that it was Erev Hashanah and Erev Shekim Shabbos. There was one baker in Gateshead, and there wasn't enough time for him to bake all the challahs that the people are going to eat for Yom Tov. Why? Because Erev Hashanah he had a whole seder going to the mikveh starting at 4:00 and saying the slichas, the whole slichas, and he had an Indian that he had from his father, whatever it is, to say the whole Tillim, Erev Hashanah. He had this baker had a whole seder. And the Jews were not going to have challahs. There weren't enough challahs because there was one baker. He was busy with his religion. He was busy with all from the stuff that he had. So the Shatzer Rebbe went to meet him, and he met him in the mikveh at 4:00. And the Shatzer Rebbe said that it would be possible to exchange with you, that I would be the baker and you would be the Rebbe, or do all your things. I would make that exchange. And the baker said, is the Rebbe saying that I should go into the bakery and I should spend the whole day in the bakery, not doing my tillim, not doing slichas. I should spend the whole day in the bakery and not do it. And the Rebbe said, I told him I would make such a chalif, a switch. So the baker said, so in other words, in Shemayim it's going to be considered that, so it's going to be, the Rebbe is going to be baking all day. I'm going to be considered as if I said Tillim all day. I mean, the Rebbe doesn't have to bake. He goes, I'll go do what you tell me. But it's going to be in Shemayim, they will switch it. The Rebbe will be in Shemayim considered as if he's baking all day. And I will be the one that's saying Tillim, Slichas and Tillim all day long. So the Rebbe said, I'm masking 100%, but you're making a big mistake with the schayr. In other words, I'll do it, but you're making a big mistake. Because the biggest thing you could do Erev Hashanah is to feed the Jews who are sitting over here and waiting for challah. I'll do it. In other words, I'll be considered the baker. I'll take it, and you could become the Rebbe. But I'm telling you, you're making a bad business. You're making a bad deal. That's what he told me. The Rebbe was saying, "Lahakir es makaimcha." Recognize your place. Know your place. That's your place. To know it. Hainu amakulu sheish Hashem zbarachim b'frat. Klema she'amak leidla is a kodesh shemayim baros Hashem zbarach. Vayridel zahar elam. What does Hashem zbarach take you on the shom and bring down to the world today, this day in Gateshead in 1942, whatever that was? Why am I here? What's the kodesh shemayim? And the Rabbi told him, "You want to? I'll switch with you, but I'm telling you right now, your Indian is not slichus. Is not slichus until I'm telling you, it's not your Indian. Your Indian is baking challahs. That's your Indian." And if a person would know that, azai v'shochan tachtav, then you would be able to dwell securely in your place. You would feel that, ani babayit. You wouldn't be in the bakery thinking the whole time, I can't believe it. I'm sitting here handling with the ovens and stuff when everybody else is saying slichas. And I'm doing the same thing I do every Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, when I'm doing the Erev Hashanah, and Erev Hashanah, I'm baking challahs. So the guy's in that place, and he's upset because he thinks his mokum is in shul. And the Rabbi was telling him, no. And I'll do it with you, but I'm telling you, your mokum is in the bakery. V'shochan tachta, dwell securely in your place. You wouldn't have to drive around the whole world looking for what? To find margoa, tranquility, naicha, menucha. You wouldn't have to go around looking at the whole world. For sure not into a bar, or to a club, a drink or a joint or something like that, looking for something. You wouldn't have to go driving around looking for naicha, for margoa. The mekaymes harachoykim, far away. Now, especially the Rebbe didn't know you can go far away. Where you have a phone, you can go far away. You don't have to even travel anywhere. You can take the thing out of your pocket and you press a button and you're all over the world. Everybody's looking ana va'ana. Where am I going to find some naicha, some margoa? Which site is going to give me some naicha, some manucha? Ela tachta b'mkaimai, in your place. You might say kol minei naicha. In your place, you would find kol minei naicha. And then the pasuk goes on and says, you're not going to be disturbed, stressed, frightened, trembling. We just read in the Teicha, those terrible non-brachas in the Teicha, that you're going to be dragging around in Golas. The pasuk says, you're going to be dragging around in Golas. You're going to have this leiv ragoz. The heart is going to be a leiv ragoz. In other words, the opposite of what this pasuk is promising, where it says v'lo gazo. The curse of the Teicha is you're going to be in Golos, and you're going to have a heart, a leiv ragoz, an angry, broken, trembling, stressed out heart. And the Rebbe says, Hainu. The reason that a person has a leiv ragoz is because he's not in his mokum. He's not in his place. The Gemara is talking about this pasuk, sham leiv ragoz. The pasuk is talking about where we're in Galus. And it says you're going to have over there, in other words, when you're not home, when you're not in Eretz Yisrael, when Am Yisrael is not in its place, Hashem says you're going to have with the enemies, it's going to be bad, you're going to have a leiv ragoz. So the Gemara there brings a Maisa. The Gemara is talking about when Ula was on his way up, he was moving to Eretz Yisrael. Ula was going on Aliyah. His name Ula means to go up. He was going up to Eretz Yisrael, he was moving to Eretz Yisrael. And the Gemara tells us that he was at that place where he was going with two Jews. They were traveling together. And these two Jews had a fight with each other. It's hard to believe, and one killed the other one. This is Ula's traveling companions. Got into a fight, and so Ula said, hey, and one killed the other one. And the Gemara is talking about this. The Gemara says, how could such a thing be? The Bovel Ksiv, when it says that we're going to have a Lev Ragos, a raging, angry heart, that's talking about in Bovel. That's talking about in Chutz La'aretz. But not when we go up to Eretz Yisrael. So the Gemara answers, so how could this have happened? How did a Jew kill another Jew? How did he get so angry that he killed somebody? How could it happen? So the Gemara answers, the answer is they didn't cross the Yarden yet. They were still in Chutz La'aretz. They didn't cross over yet. They were going to cross over. But could it be that it can't be that in Eretz Yisrael that a Yid would be so filled with anger? If you're in your place, how can you be so angry? If you're in your place, then it says you're not going to have a Lev Ragos. The terrace, of course, is that such a thing can happen. As long as a person is not in his place. The Rabbi explains, even though they were still on the other side of the Yarden, it was shocking because they were on their way to Eretz Yisrael. You would think that this person would have already been connected to his place, but they were not there yet. They weren't there yet. If you'd be fully in your place, there would not be a Lev Ragos. But if you're still on the other side of the Yarden, you haven't crossed over. In other words, in your life, if you haven't crossed over, then there's din. Yarden is a lotion of Yerad din. Yerad din. The lineage of Rosh Hashanah is Zohar talks about is crossing over from one side of the Yarden to the other side of the Yarden, which is going from the place of din to the place of Chesed and Rach, the other side of the river. Because the Ikka Lev Ragos, that to have that stressed out, angry, raging heart, that's because you're on the wrong side of the Jordan. Meaning you're not in your place. And when you're in the wrong place, your whole life is din. It's filled with din. You're not home. You're not makom with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, with that mekuven of why did Hashem create you? When you're not in that place, it means you're on the wrong side of the island. And the pasuk ends, and the evil ones will no longer be able to oppress you. Because all the kitrugim, all of the enemies that a person has, all of the tsaros that a person has, all of the kitrugim that a person feels in his life, those are called the oppressors. It's because you're not in your makom. But when each Jew is going to live his life that Hashem prepared for him, that's our passage. When that will be fulfilled, there will no longer be a piskon peh for any kitrugim in your life, because you're in your place. And that's the meaning of the evil ones, the oppressors, will no longer go after you. They will no longer oppress you and hurt you. Because when you're not in your place, the whole world is against you. You feel that everything in life is against you. You feel that everybody is your enemy. You're filled with anger, blaming all of the people in your life, all of the circumstances of your life that have messed you up. And that's what this pasuk is telling us. That's what Hashem was saying to David HaMelech. He was telling him, David, I want you to move ahead and build the base of Mikdash. I want Jews to come and to return to their home. v'samti mokum. He says, Maschal Hashem is Baruch Levnoisa v'Yisrael, Aydei Mitzvahs Zeh. So this Torah the Rabbi said on Hoshana Rabbah. So look how he ends the Torah. He says that this feeling of having a makom, Hashem opens up this feeling to us, especially after Rosh Hashanah Kippur when it comes to Sukkot. Why Sukkot? Which of course is David. Rachman Yochim one of Sukkot David on the fellas, but why Sukkot? Hoshana Rabbah is David on today, but why Sukkot? Sukkot is Davka the day. Sukkot is Davka the time of the year where you leave your home. So what's the pshat? Why would Sukkot be the gilui of a samti mokum la'avi Yisrael? It's Davka when you leave your house. Oh, Dav, you know. Because the mokum is not your couch in your living room. Your mokum is the shechina. I think this is like a Ruach HaKodesh. He says, Maschal Yisrael of Noisa v'Yisrael, they misses Chag, Shul Kedisa b'Gemara, say me divas keva, v'shev divas aroy, leave your permanent dwelling and go into a temporary dwelling. In other words, leave that thing in your life that you imagine is your place. And you built up your whole life around a thing that you call your place. That's your place. And your happiness depends upon a physical place, or a person, or a friend, or whatever it might be. And you settle into that mokum, and you think that's going to bring you to a simcha. Zman simchaseinu is davka when you leave your home, and you understand that your home is with the Kodesh Baruch Hu, the Shechina, that mekuven of your life. You could be happy in your house. That's not the point. The point is the sukkah is a place of the Shechina. Where it's compared to the schachas, the mother, the Shechina hovering over us, and so on. It means that you're not going to be, it means living, when are you going to have that simcha? When are you going to have that menucha? When you're not stuck in any midah, you're not stuck in something that has to be the way that you want, that's not your makom. There's no other people in the world that can have this, that can find their peace, that doesn't depend upon a place, a thing. Only Am Yisrael can be all over the world, and going through all kinds of crazy things, and they're still able to feel the samti l'chamakim, they have a sukkah. The Isa b'Gemara, Shabir ha'achman yemitzvah sukkah, and that's what the Gemara tells us. At the beginning of it as well, that the final bureau, the Goyim say we should also be. Why don't you give us the Torah? The whole Gemara there, and Hashem says, "All right, I'll give you one mitzvah. Right, go out to the sukkah. Here's a sukkah. It's a mitzvah kal. It's a simple mitzvah kal. It's a mitzvah kal. It's a sukkah. Make a sukkah. So the Goyim build a sukkah. This is the final test to show the Atar B'Chatam, who we are, who they are. And then they go to the sukkah, and Hashem takes out the sun. It gets very, very hot. And what? Remember what happens? They kick the sukkah and say, it's crazy. I can't live in such a place. But Hashem is in that place. Yeah, but it's too hot. And Jews have lived with Hashem in places that were also too hot. Like there were ovens that were burning with Jewish bodies in the crematorium. And Jews stayed with Hashem. You never kicked the sukkah. Because the sukkah is a person's makom. When the guy is not happy with his place, he gives it a kick and he goes out from his place. Even though a Jew also wants to sit in the sukkah, but sometimes he has to leave the sukkah if it's raining. Or if it's also impossible, it's so hot you can't sit in the sukkah. Say, Hamistar, it's part you're part of it. But he doesn't kick the sukkah because that's not, because I'll go to the, so then Hashem is telling me that today I'm supposed to be baking the challah and getting it. Means if it's raining and I'm not supposed to sit in the sukkah, I'll go out of the sukkah and I'll be happy making Kiddush in the house, sitting in the house. Because then that's my mom. Because Hashem's mekuven with me at that moment is not to sit in the sukkah. And I don't care as long as Hashem comes with me. I'm fine. Because that's my makom. Moshe King Yisrael. When Hashem tells the Jew, right now we need to make the chalas for Rosh Hashanah. So he doesn't get all twisted and angry and all upset. One of the tzaddikim from Peshwas, the tzaddikim from Peshwas, lived in Belgium. So I saw the same place. I saw this mice. He said that he says that the person who has glila with the Sefer Torah gets the schar of everybody else who had all the aliyahs, and the schar of the goyel is keneged kulam. And he said this because there was a yid, there was a Talmid Chacham, and that Jew needed to help somebody with a toiv to do a favor to help a Jew, and he didn't want to leave the best medrash to go help that person with the toiv. No one else could help the person, only this guy that was learning. And the Rabbi said to him that the one who does goyel means the one who closes his gemara gets the schar for everybody else. Because Hashem's telling you right now, close your gemara and go help that person. He has nobody to help him. Close your gemara. That's goyel. Close it. Close the book right now and do what you have to. Right now, Hashem is going with you. Your mokum right now is not in this medrash. Your mokum right now is to go help that person. If there was somebody else that was helping him, right now, he needs you. You have to close the gemara. That's galila. As I'm muchanim hema, take it from yad lotzis menablikov. If Hashem, you're telling me to leave the sukkah. If the Rabbi, you're telling me to go back chalas. Hashem is telling me to leave the sukkah. That means that's my makom. And ein libi choylek al makom. I'm never going to disagree with the makom. Rashi says, I'm never going to do anything against the makom. That's my makom. Because then if I'm not going to do what the makom wants, then I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm not happy, and I have no menucha. So mechanim heim take it from yad lotzis men bli ikul. So the Yisuf nor another minute. I'm not going to do the last paragraph about hakafas. Maybe you'll do that yourself. So the Yisuf the Gemara Yisrael l'mavati. The Gemara says Jews don't kick the sukkah. We go with Hashem everywhere. We travel with Him. You want me in the sukkah now? I said in the sukkah. Like the Rabbi Melech and the Rabbi Zushi in the jail. Right now, you want us to daven? You don't want us to daven because there's filth over here, so I'm not going to daven. Then the guy takes the filth out of the jail. So I'm not daven. Remember, I spoke about that when it was COVID and people going crazy, having to go sneak into shuls and to go against the law and to get arrested or something because they can't be outside of the shul. And I was making fun of this, the insanity of all of this. Hashem said right now, Hashem brought this Indian and he said right now, you're not supposed to daven in shul, you're supposed to daven at home. That's your welcome, so then go be simcha, go daven at home. And these people going, I can't, I never miss shul, I don't miss shul, that's my thing. That's about you, that's not about Hashem. Let them arrest me, let them take me off to jail in handcuffs, I'm davening in shul. You idiot. I'm not even talking about it. Besides in halacha, what is that? But that's not Yiddishkeit. That's not Yiddishkeit. My mokum is with Hashem. So. And I'm not mevayit. I don't kick and scream and carry on. Because when I'm with Hashem, I don't have a lever on God's. My heart is not raging, it's not angry. I have neicha. I'm b'menucha. Therefore, it doesn't have to be bekviyas. Guy says, I have an unbroken record. I'm the Lou Gehrig. I always forget the other guy afterwards. Who was the guy afterwards?
Cal Ripken.
Cal Ripken. I was after my time. So I'm still in the Lou Gehrig. So I have consecutive minchas. I never missed. So I'm not going to go to visit this person in the hospital because I'm going to miss mincha. The guy's sitting there in the hospital and you're davening your mincha. Oh yeah. Because you don't want to break the streak. You want to be in the Hall of Fame of mincha goers. You don't want to break your streak. It's about you. That's not about the mokum. Because your mokum right at that moment was to be in the hospital with your friend. If you can work it out both, it's okay. But if you can't, then you have to be in the hospital. That's your mokum. Because Hashem's there. He's not over there by your mincha. He's not there with your mincha. He's waiting for you in the hospital, to be there in the hospital. He's waiting for you in the hospital. What's going on with you? This is your mokum here. So Jews don't kick the sukkah. And that's why he's saying the devotion opens up this or to us of a mokum davke, By Yom Tov Sukkot is when you go out of your mokum. When you're not in your mokum kavu in your house. He says, say me diras keva. A Jew doesn't have any diras keva, only the mokum shalom, because the mokum is with Hashem. That's how we began. That's your mokum, is with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Rak v'yaros haratzon Hashem, haratzon Yisbarach, hamislabish b'soichem, kach heimen imshachen acher oisa adavar. A Jew is drawn, mashcheni acharecha. A Jew is drawn to the will of Hashem, what Hashem wants from him at that moment in his life. And that's the mitzvah of Sukkot. Finally, after the whole El and Rosh Hashanah Kippur, a person comes to this clarity of what? Of being in that place, of living with Hamakim. To come to a place of a person, to have that Makim, something Makim La'ami Yisrael, something Makim La'ami Yisrael. And afterwards he explains the Indian of the Aravis and Hashanah Rabbah, and Akofis of the Arava, and Yom HaRabbah, which is David HaMelech, which is Hashanah Rabbah, and it's Hashem. We'll do that at a different time. Next Sunday, I'm going to be away teaching, so I go every year Sunday. It's actually true, like to teach. There, great next. I'm not going to be here next Sunday morning. That's Hashem.